أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه وأفضل الصلاة وتم التسليم على سيدنا وحبيبنا وأسواتنا محمد الأمين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين رضوان الله تعالى على الصحابات الراشدين المباركين والتابعين لهم بخير وإحسان إلى يوم الدين وعلينا معهم وفيهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ونعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع. اللهم تحل قلوبنا من الرياء والنفاق. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we have now reached the auspicious month of Rabi al-Awwal. Rabi al-Awwal, translated as the first spring, and which is the blessed month of the birth of the best of creation, al-Habib, al-Mustafa Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi rashidina wa sallam. Also, the month of his blessed migration from Mecca to Mukarramah to Yathrib, which later became known as the Blessed City, the city in which the deen was established, the enlightened city of Medina to Munawwara. During this month, with Allah's permission, the Fakir would like to go through a hadith text, a small hadith text, an Arba'in collection, in which ijaza, specifically ijaza mutlaqa, was given in regards to the traditions of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi rashidin wa sallam. And the Fakir advises you, but firstly himself, to take this month as a month in spending more time reading the Sirah, spending our time listening to lectures and refreshing ourselves with the Shama'il, the noble characteristics of al-Habib al-Mustafa alayhi afdalus salam, and also learning his prophetic traditions. So within this spirit, one of the short hadith text Arba'in collections that the Fakir has ijaza mutlaqa in is Silsilah al-Ibriz bi sanad al-Aziz. And so we will go over this inshallah, and the sanad that goes through one of the nobles of the descendants of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam from Balkh, which is in modern day Afghanistan, and has reached the Fakir through four different paths, or we can say turuq, in regards to transmission. This is a well known text. It's also online. You can find it under the translation of collection of 40 Arba'in, al-Arba'in Shah Waliullah Dehlawi, rahimahullah ta'ala. You can find it online. This is a translation version. I've heard some people question some of the translation, but may Allah preserve those who translate it. It's by Safaruk Zaman Chowdhury, and commentary by Sheikh Ni'matullah and Marcia Hermanson. So you can find this. Also, if you go to sunnah.com, you can find the Arabic text along with the English. If you look, I believe it's the Arba'in of Shah Waliullah. So this is what we will go over. Just a little something about the sanad of the text, and in general about the importance of sanad. And we will dispense with reading through the asanid for this text. For the sake of time, we will read through part of one just for the very beginning, but in the beginning, in the commentary of Sahih Muslim, there is a saying that was attributed to one of the Salaf, Mansub, of Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimahullah ta'ala, that says that it starts off al-isnadu min ad-din, that isnad, chain of transmission, is from the deen. And the saying continues that if there were no isnad, then one could say whatever they wish. One could say whatever they wish about the deen. Whatever one pleases, wherever one wishes, one could say that. And this is one of the characteristics that distinguishes Deen al-Islam from Judaism and from Christianity. So Jews or Judaism claims to follow the laws of Nabiullah Musa alayhi salam, but you cannot find a rabbi or any Jewish person this day that says that they have a chain of transmission uninterrupted from themselves to Kalimullah Musa alayhi salam. Doesn't exist. There's no such isnad. Likewise, for those who are Christians, there's no such thing as an isnad back to al-Masih Isa alayhi salam. You can't find any pope, any priest with any isnad back to the Injil. And as we believe that there's tahrif, that there were things added and things that were taken out of both of the Torah and of the Gospels, so things such as saying that God has children, verses of anthropomorphism, saying that Allah has a son, these things that we would say is polytheistic and anthropomorphic. We don't believe that they taught these things, but there isn't an isnad. Matter of fact, they don't even have an isnad going back to the Greek manuscript of Isa alayhi salam, and we know that Isa alayhi salam, to our understanding, spoke Aramaic and was not a Greek speaker. So even the oldest manuscript, supposedly of the Injil, is not even in the language, is not even in Semitic language. So, but what distinguishes this Deen al-Islam is that we have asanid, chains of transmission. And there are people who are hufad al-Quran in the different readings, such as in Tilawat Qalun or Tilawat Warsh, for instance. Tilawat Qalun is predominantly read in Libya and some in West Africa. In Warsh, predominantly read in North Africa, like in the Maghrib and in places such as Mali and Senegal, places that I've been blessed to travel and gain benefit from. Hufaz have ijaza not just in tajweed, but in also in memorization, and people can produce a chain of transmission going all the way back to the Tabi Nafi that came from Sahaba, that came from hearing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi rashidin wa sallam, as well as other readings like Hafs, which is well-known qiraat. Likewise, there are chains of transmission that are connected with no disconnect with biographies that we have of we know the men who studied and heard from men or women who studied from men or women who go all the way back to the first generation, back to al-Habib al-Mustafa Muhammad salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi wa ala alihi. And this is part of the beauty of this Deen al-Islam. And many of these, just like the Quran is a tawatir report, meaning tawatir is normally said to mean that 10 or more people have heard and passed on the transmission, that we also have hadith in a similar vein that are narrated in our books, and not just um, from Ahlul Sunnah, but also hadith that can be found verbatim, or we could say a lafzi, and also and or ma'nawi in meaning, even in the books of Zaydiyya, Ibadiyya, Imamiyya, meaning of the Zaydis and of the Ibadis, and as well as the Shia, the Twelvers, that these transmissions can be found. So, alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these chains of transmission. And this is how we benefit from these chains of people who not only memorized the hadith, but also they taught the meanings in a disconnected chain. So what we'll be reading from is from what the faqih was able to gain benefit from and got ijaza in. You can find Silsilah al-Ibriz, Bisanat al-Aziz. You can order it online. This is one copy right here that you can maybe find online on our website. And also, if you go to Google, for those who know Arabic, you can find this this chain of transmission of this 40 hadith narration that also, as I mentioned before, goes through this chain of narration. Now, just to go through some of the different routes in which the fakir got ijaza in. One was from a sanad that goes through Shah Waliullah. So this is one of the chains of transmission that this came through, in which we learned that connects back to Sheikh Ahmed Rida Khan, that then goes back to through Shah Abdul Aziz Dehlawi, who is the son of Shah Waliullah al-Dehlawi, who then he got in an unbroken chain of transmission. So this is one of the routes in regards to the ijaza for this. Another route for the ijaza that we got goes through the chain of Sheikh Tahir al-Qadri, who got from Sayyid Muhammad, the great Sayyid Muhammad ibn Alawi al-Maliki, who's well known, who got from the transmission of the Habayib Sayyid Hamza ibn Umar al-Idrusi from a Sayyid al-Habib Idrus ibn Umar al-Hibshi. That goes through the chain of transmission through the blessed members of Ahlul Bayt from Yemen, from Hadramaut. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve the believers and the great scholars of Hadramaut. And another chain of transmission of the Turuq that also came through, that we got, was through the Sheikh of our shuyukh, the muhaddith, one of the last muhaddithin of the last century, that we got from through the chain of Sheikh Muhaddith Muhammad ibn Yasin al-Fadani al-Makki. And this goes through a chain of transmission that also comes from Yemen, which includes a Sayyid Hussein ibn Yahya ibn Ibrahim al-Daylami, from al-Qari al-Hasan ibn Muhammad ibn Salih al-San'ani, from al-Hasan ibn Yahya ibn Ahmed al-Kibsi, that goes through the chain back through al-Imam al-Mu'ayyid Billah Muhammad ibn al-Qasim Qaddasallahu Ruha. And another chain that we are connected to that also goes through the Senate of Yemen, and the other one was through Yemen as well, but from the Amiruddin ibn Abdullah ibn Sayyid Ahmed ibn Abdullah al-Wazir, from al-Imam Sharafuddin ibn Sayyid Samruddin Ibrahim ibn Muhammad al-Wazir. that goes through this Senate also from Yemen, and there's also another Senate that goes through another um, through a different chain, also from Sheikh al-Fadani, that goes back through Sayyid Hussein ibn Yahya Daylami, but from Hussein Yahya Daylami, rahimullah ta'ala, had gotten from another one of his shuyukh that goes back in the Senate. So we will then just, and this is a good practice, just so we understand the chain of transmission and the names of some of these great scholars that we benefited from, who followed different madhahib. And as we mentioned, there are men in the Senate from madhab Hanafi, from madhab Shafi'i, and from madhab Zaydi. With that, let us begin, and we will maybe read 2 tonight, and then we will continue bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So let's begin reading with the Senate, starting from the chief Rawi, who passed away in 532 in Bach, and we read the Hadith and make some comments bi'idhnillahi ta'ala based upon the commentaries that we were taught and also that were given. And also we will go through the takhrij of the other books as well as the narrators. This is a Senate that goes through all the way through unconnected from this Rawi all the way through to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam from Ahlul Bayt, also as Sheikh al-Fadani mentions this as musalsal bil itra. Musalsal bil itra, meaning that which was conveyed through the chain of transmission from al-itra, meaning the descendants of Fatima az-Zahra alayha salam. أخبرنا سيد الإمام أثر شرف الدين بقية سادتي ببلخ أبو محمد الحسن ابن علي ابن أبي طالب الحسيني قرأه علينا من لفظه غير مرة في سنة 27 500. قال حدثني سيدي ووالدي أبو الحسن علي ابن أبي طالب في سنة 66 و400. قال حدثني سيدي وولاده أبو طالب الحسن ابن عبيد الله الحسيني في سنة 54 و400. قال حدثني سيدي وولاده أبو عبيد الله ابن محمد قال حدثني سيدي ووالدي محمد قال حدثني سيدي وولاده عبيد الله قال حدثني سيدي وولاده علي قال حدثني سيدي وولاده الحسن الأمير أول من دخل ببلخ من هذه الطائفة. قال حدثني سيدي وولاده الحسين بن جعفر قال حدثني سيدي وولاده جعفر الملقب بالحجة قال حدثني سيدي وولاده عبيد الله الزاهد قال حدثني سيدي وولاده حسين الأصغر قال حدثني سيدي وولاده علي ابن الحسين زين العابدين قال حدثني سيدي وولاده الحسين المظلوم الشهيد سبط النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال حدثني سيدي وولاده أمير المؤمنين ويعصوب الدين علي ابن أبي طالب رضي الله عنهم أجمعين قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم ليس خبرك معينة. So this is the first hadith, but as you can see that this is from the Husseini lineage, and the chief Rawi is a descendant of Hussein al-Asghar, and Hussein al-Asghar has well, he has descendants in the United States of America, but they are descendants, and I know of some of them who were in Eritrea, who followed the Shafi'i madhab. May Allah preserve them. Al-Hussein al-Asghar is one of the sons of al-Imam Ali ibn Hussein, also known as the adornment of the worshippers, Zain al-Abidin, who was the Sayyid of his time in al-Medina, the only son of Sayyidina Hussein who survived Karbala, and he took from his father al-Hussein Ridwanullahi ta'ala wassalamuhu alayhi, and Hussein took from Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu an, who took from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam, who said, "Laysa khabaru kal mu'ayyana." Translate or meaning that reports, meaning things that you hear, are not like those that you witness, meaning witness with your eyes, like al-mu'ayyana, like related to the word ayn, which means eyes, al-mu'ayyana. Those things that you hear are not like those things that you can see. Before going through the meaning of this, which should seem self-evident or apparent, but perhaps some things we haven't thought about. As far as the takhrij or the other books that this comes from, number one, this has also been narrated by Abu Huraira and Ibn Abbas, this exact same hadith in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and also Tabarani in his Awsat, and Al-Hakim in his Mustadrik al-Sahihain, which is the book of Al-Hakim al-Nisaburi, where he collected hadith that were left out of al-Bukhari and Muslim, and he stated that he was using the same methodology that they used to verify a hadith, but hadith that they had left out. And also al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, and also coming from the narration or through Anas ibn Malik. So this is Ali, and then also three other companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam, and this was also narrated by Ibn Hibban and also by al-Qada'i and Musnad al-Shihab, which the Sheikh of our Shuyukh did takhrij of this, called Fath al-Wahhab, who did the takhrij of this text, Sayyid Ahmed ibn Muhammad ibn Siddiq al-Ghumari al-Hasani, Ghafarallah, may Allah forgive him. And this also comes through the riwayah of the Shah of Sheikh as-Suduq. It also comes through the riwayah of his texts of al-Faqih and also al-Muwa'id, which I'm unfamiliar with those two books, but the author did takhrij not just of the books of Ahl Sunnati wa Jama'ah, but also of the Shia. So in regards to the commentary, Laysa khabaru kal mu'ayyana, that what you hear or reports are not like what you witness. And when we witness things, we may not see with our eyes what happened before what we witnessed or all the details, but we see the actual event itself as it took place. So that which we see with our eyes, empirically, we see the truth of the matter, or the reality of the matter, at least on the surface with our eyes. We see what took place with our eyes. If someone picks up something and put it in their pocket, and the store owner said they didn't pay, then we saw the reality of that. However, much of what we hear, a large percentage, and sometimes the majority of it, is false. So the commentators say that what we see with our eyes, this in itself is haqq. Most of what we hear is batil. It is falsehood. Either much of what we hear is hearsay, is uncorroborated, and in many cases, either people don't tell intentional lies, perhaps they may leave off something that they saw. They either leave off certain facts, or sometimes people add things in, even unintentionally, right? Hence, we have the had in the Quran for zina, for example. We can't call someone a zani, and even if we see someone committing, we're not supposed to go and carry that news. But there is evidentiary witnesses, 4 eyewitnesses, right, who are mukallaf, according to the sacred law. These are people who are known to be trustworthy and cogent, of sound, mature mind, witness something. Then in an Islamic country, had can be applied for zina, for instance. So much of what we hear is not correct, is not sound. Things are added to it, and even if we hear something, at least if it's only from one person or 2 persons, perhaps there may be a little doubt in it. But when we see something, then we have more surety in that which we heard. In conclusion, we will go to the second hadith. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم المجالس بالأمانة. المجالس بالأمانة. This is that the gatherings or the assemblies, they are with a sacred trust. They are with amana, bil amana. And normally in our halaqat that we have, let's say on Fatua that we have here in Detroit, we'll start off saying al majalsa bil amana, when people begin to share certain things, ask questions, or share certain experiences, meaning that what is said in the gathering should stay in the gathering. It should not go out with, and even if something is said, generally speaking, it should not be attached to the person's name or said in such a way that people outside of the gathering could easily conclude or could try to deduce the person who said it. El majalisu bil amana, right? What's said in the gatherings is supposed to stay in the gatherings, right? So there should not be any gossip about those things that are said in a gathering, or a closed gathering, in which people say or talk about, especially when there's the expectation of confidentiality. With that, my brothers and sisters, we close with this session, this first night of the blessed month of Rabi al-Awwal, the first spring, and this reading of Silsilah al-Ibriz bi Aziz. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الراشدين وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.